Afternoon, the latest quest to win this magnificent trophy is underway. We're ready for the drama, the highs, the lows that propel us out of our seats. On behalf of us all at ESPN, it's great to be here with the Barclays Premier League centre stage.
It's that time of the year again.
The lust for success.
The fear of failure. Those racing hearts that seethe with passion and raw excitement. You can feel the crowd flex its muscle like one great beast. It kicks you right in the center of your gut. For this is who we are. This is what we are. Wrapped in your colors, eyes glistening, pulse throbbing, all raising their voices as one. Intensity, conflict, commitment, nerve. Oh, who could resist this? No one. And even when you think you know the outcome, wait. Prepare to be amazed. For you have the best seat in the house.
Stephen Burkhoff setting the scene. Our ESPN Premier League coverage begins on Merseyside, on the blue side of Stanley Park at Goodison Park. These Everton fans have spent most of the summer worrying about whether they'll hold on to their star defender Joleon Lescott. He had a transfer request rejected this week. There was speculation David Moyes would leave him out of the team today, but he plays. Joleon Lescott starts for Everton, although it's fair to say relations between Everton and Manchester City are at an all-time low. Arsene Wenger's had similar issues. Adebayor and Toure have both joined the Manchester City bandwagon, or is that bankwagon? That's for a combined total of £41 million. And a major signing, defender Thomas Vermaelen, who's arrived from Ajax. Will Arsenal challenge for the title? Will they stay in the top four? And can Everton break into the top four? Well, they did 4 years ago. The first of 46 live Barclays Premier League games on ESPN is Everton against Arsenal. Kick-off in 25 minutes' time. Joining us at the studio, two men who know these clubs inside out. 500 appearances, just on 200 goals between them. Peter made the tackles, Ian scored the goals. It's Reed and Wright.
Just going to say, not many goals from me, by the way. 200.
Peter, right decision or wrong decision to play Joleon Lescott for Everton today?
No, you've got to play him. He's a professional. We know there's a problem with Manchester City trying to buy him, but play him.
Ian, do you agree with that?
Well, to be honest, he's got to play. He's one of their best players. But for me personally, I hope Arsenal put him under as much pressure as they can, because I feel that he's going to be under pressure, and I think that we should try and exploit that.
The Everton fans might make their feelings known with Joleon Lescott having put the transfer request in.
Well, a passionate bunch, I know that, and they won't be happy with the way Lescott's handled it. So I think he might get a bit of stick today. But he's got to overcome that. He's got to play. He's got to go out there professional and play like he did do last season, and got interest in Manchester City because he played well.
And settling for Everton perhaps, but they have to perform on the day. As far as Arsenal are concerned, is there a title challenge, or is it going to be a challenge to stay in the top four?
Well, you know, we've come close on a couple of occasions, 8 points here and missing out on the title. But I think we're more now at top four. You know, because when you get past our first 11, we're not really looking as strong enough to sustain a challenge long enough to maybe go for the Premiership. It really does depend on the start and how many key players don't get injured.
Do you see Arsenal as a challenge to the title, or do you see it's going to be a struggle for them to stay in the top four?
I think very pleasing on the eye. I think they're great to watch. When I look at the side and the squad, I don't think there's enough winners. You know, the Tony Adams, the Vieira, people like that. Enough winners. I think they've got great players, technically, but
Get bullied about a bit as well, especially when it gets down into the 60 minutes of a game. And that, a team like Everton, I'm sure Everton will do it today, they'll really be right amongst them today. And that's what I want to see, if they can respond to that.
And let's move to Goodison Park and join ESPN's Rebecca Lowe.
And you join me here in the home dressing room at Goodison Park. The new home strip is all hung up and they're almost ready to go for their first match of the season, a day that Everton fans have been looking forward to all summer long. Now, they're expecting a 40,000 sellout crowd here at what's known as the People's Club this afternoon, so there won't be an empty seat in the stadium. Now, along here, this is the tunnel area. This is where the Everton players will line up against their Arsenal counterparts just before 5:30. And just coming up on my right-hand side is a television interview room. I'll just show you what that looks like, because just before the game, I'll be catching up with David Moyes to find out the very latest on the Lescott situation. We'll also be talking to the Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger. Plus, we've got an exclusive interview with the Arsenal forward Andre Arshavin. But before all that, let's go outside, find out the opinion of the Everton fans on Joleon Lescott.
Until either Jagielka's back fit or he gets a replacement, I just think he'll hold out and make him stay.
He's a superb defender since he's been here for us. It'd be like a big loss when he goes.
Yeah, if he wants to go, let him go. City won't do nothing anyway.
We've lost players previously and Moyes just continues to build, so no, if he goes and we'll move on.
I love Moyes for what he's doing, but if he's got to continue playing well so that maybe he can leave at the end of the season. He might even decide to stay. You don't know what's going to happen, do you?
Well, those are the reactions of the Everton supporters, and of course the big question on everyone's minds, will Joleon Lescott play? And that's been answered in the affirmative. We're up here on the commentary gantry, high in the Bullings Road stand, and down beneath us, around about 30 feet or so beneath us, is the spot on the Bullings Road terracing, now an area of seating where Joe Royle watched his first game on this ground back in the late 1950s. So the team news fairly straightforward, with Lescott playing, that was the big issue, and Vermaelen making his debut for Arsenal, the only debutant in the two teams, and that shows that both sides, Joe Royle, have had a less than fruitful summer in the transfer market.
I think there's a lot of unrest at the moment amongst fans waiting for new signings. We're led to believe there will be new signings this week. More than anything, they want to see Lescott stay. I'm sure the fans are all behind him, or most of them are anyway. You'll find the odd fan that doesn't want him to stay now he's asked for a transfer. He will be very, very hard to replace, believe me.
So that's the situation. Vermaelen making his debut for Arsenal. Lescott in the team, but it was confirmed to me a few minutes ago by a source close to the Everton side that he'd go to the manager yesterday and say, look, I don't think I'm in a fit state of mind to play against Arsenal.
Well, if that's the case, that he said he wasn't in the right state of mind to play, and David Moyes has said, no, you're playing, well, that is going to be very interesting how things shape up today.
Like I said before, professional. He's picked now. He's got to go out there and do the job. And knowing Lescott as a player, I think he'll go out and do the job.
To be honest, really, I'm quite delighted to hear him say that he's not in this right state of mind, because, like I said, it's all about the start. He's obviously, I think he's maybe scared of the fans and the reaction he's going to get, making a mistake. He's going to, you know, all that sort of stuff. I think we've got to try and capitalise on. I don't like the way it's gone, the way the money's come in and it's just turning players' heads like that. And I think he owes Everton a lot more. And I don't think that he should have been turned like he has been turned.
We know who's the boss, Joleon Lescott. If Joleon Lescott said he didn't want to play and David Moyes is playing him, we know who's the boss. As far as the central defence is concerned for Arsenal, Vermaelen, how good a player? Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I haven't seen too much of him, but he seems pretty assured on the ball. He reads it pretty well. I think he's got enough experienced players around him in respect of helping him through. So, like I said, I'm looking to see a bit of him, because I haven't seen a lot of him in the pre-season. But he's a good player. He's a quality player, and if Arsenal's got him, he's most probably been tracking him for years, because Arsene Wenger don't make snap decisions, so he'll be half decent.
Well, I tell you what, when we see him play, he's got to perform well very quickly, because he has to settle into the Arsenal side. Arsene Wenger always used to give people an opportunity to settle. On this occasion, he's got to go in and do it straight away.
Well, Arsene Wenger's a little bit different than David Moyes. Toure went, he got a new player in. He's got to. The thing is with the Arsenal side, I think they've got an experienced back forward. They've played together before. Hopefully he'll just slot in there next to Gallas.
It's one of those though. What you've got to watch out for, really, it's the same with Senderos, Jury. When they came with big reputations. They're going to do this. They're going to be the next big thing in respect to centre halves. If he makes a couple of mistakes early on, then he's going to get the pressure as well. And it's up to him how he deals with that.
You've both picked out a couple of players that you think are going to be key for the teams this season. You picked out Tim Cahill.
Well, from the middle of the park, he makes great runs, late runs into the box, and gets goals. You know, a midfield player who gets odd goals and makes them. And for he's tremendous in the air. He's got great ability in the air. But a goal scorer, midfield runner, I think he's in for another good season.
He has to continue in the same form that he showed for Everton. Ian, you've picked Van Persie, and an important season for him. Where does he stand?
Well, the thing about it is with Robin, he's had a couple of seasons where he's been injured. He hasn't really had a real season where he can get in there. And I think he's got the ability to be a talisman for Arsenal. I don't know about him playing right up the top end. He can do it because he's a quality player. But I think he's one of those, he's got the experience now. He's played in good teams at Arsenal. Great touch, good finisher. You know what I mean? I think that he should be stepping up. I think this is a massive season for him. When you look at the players we've got, of course, Andre Arshavin, still new to us in respect of what he's going to do, but I think that Van Persie's been there long enough where he should be kicking on now and really stamping his mark on games. Really stamping his mark on games. I think this is a big season for him.
With now Adebayor to lead the line for Arsenal, more responsibility will fall on the shoulders of Andre Arshavin. He's been in fine form in pre-season, scoring 3 times, and he certainly enjoyed his last trip to Merseyside. ESPN's Daryl Curry spoke to the Russian about his famous 4 at Anfield.
To be honest, I don't think about these games so often, but of course everyone who sees me say, I saw it, it was fantastic or unbelievable. Liverpool is like a town for me. Probably one day I repeat it.
But looking ahead as well, it seems so many people already this season, perhaps unfairly, they almost have written Arsenal off in terms of the Championship, in terms of being a contender. What do you make of those type of comments?
Of course, we lost 2 good players. Adebayor, he was going to leave us last year, as I heard, but it was not a surprise. But Toure, it's his history for Arsenal, this player. But I guess our boss knows what he does.
Everton, as an example, had a very good season last season. Do you fear in any way that teams like that have improved, have perhaps closed the gap on Arsenal? Teams like Man City as well this summer?
Of course, Everton, West Ham, Tottenham and Man City want to come close to Champions League zone, and of course they can do, but we will disturb them.
You said recently that you felt it's important that Arsenal stopped talking about themselves being a young team.
Of course. As early we stop to talking about, we start to play better, because it's excuse. It's not good excuse.
So when you look around though and you still see that the young players, do you look and see, compared to other teams, still a team who could win the Championship?
I hope we can do it.
You believe it?
I believe, yeah.
Arshavin important to Arsenal today and all season. We'll hear from Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger shortly, but first, there's an excerpt from an exclusive ESPN interview with Sir Alex Ferguson. This is what the Manchester United boss thinks about Arsenal's title chances in the light of losing Adebayor and Toure.
Well, I think Arsene wanted to get rid of him. He's very good at that. He gets rid of the players he doesn't want, and he's done it very clever over the years, and he's done it again. Obviously, he knows the strength of his players. He knows them better than anyone. I think maybe they do lack a little bit of experience at certain points of the game, but really they have got quality, and you cannot ever dismiss teams of quality.
So you're not writing them off the way some people seem to be?
No, I don't write anyone off.
So a smile then from Sir Alex Ferguson, saying he's not writing off Arsenal for the title race. I'm joined by the Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger. Sir Alex says he's not writing you off, but Arsene, do you think everybody else has before the season's even started for the title?
Many people have, yes, but I believe they are wrong, and we have a good opportunity to show that today.
In terms of pressure this season, Arsene, do you think there's less on you because the spotlight is elsewhere, or more because you've not had any trophies for 4 years?
Well, there is always more, there's never less, as you said, because we haven't won the Premiership or the Champions League in the last 4 years, and therefore there is always more, but we can cope with that, and I believe we are focused to do well, and when you want to do well in the Premier League, you know you have to go to places like Everton and have a good result.
Now, your new signing, Thomas Vermaelen, plays today. How do you feel he's going to adapt to both the pace and the physicality of the Premier League after coming from the Eredivisie?
Well, that's a good opportunity for him to show today that he can adapt to that. I'm confident, but of course, you can be surprised, but he is surrounded by 3 players who are used to the Premiership at the back, and they will help him out.
One of your stars in pre-season was Jack Wilshere, hasn't travelled today. What was the thinking behind that?
The thinking behind that is that Jack is just playing midweek. He's 17 years old, and we have to get him in and out. He will be in the team, don't worry, during the season. And as well, we have many strikers available and offensive midfielders available.
And you won't need reminding, the beginning of last season wasn't great for Arsenal. How important, therefore, is it, as always, to get off to a good start?
It's, of course, very important. We have been a little bit disturbed with the national team, but many teams have been, and we can compensate that by a big focus, what we have.
OK, we wish you luck today, Arsenal. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you a little bit later on. So the Arsenal fans will be looking forward to seeing their new signing, Thomas Vermaelen, in action, and they'll be quietly confident this afternoon, having not lost away in the Premier League since last November.
They've only won 2 of the last 7 at Goodison Park, and Arsene Wenger thinks the top 4 isn't set in stone. 3 times 4th of the last 4 seasons, after the top 2 for 8 consecutive seasons, 3 times title winners. After the break, we'll hear from the Everton manager David Moyes, who'll be looking for a better start to this campaign than the last one. The Blues failed to win any of their first 5 games. We're changing the shape of the ball for our live Aussie Rules action tomorrow morning. Carlton, with 5 wins from their last 6, look like they're heading for their first finals campaign since 2001. But Port Adelaide are no pushovers at home. The power at home to the Blues, live on ESPN tomorrow morning at 6. Arsenal are the visitors at Goodison Park on the opening Saturday of a new Barclays Premier League season. Already today, victories for Chelsea, Manchester City, shock win for Wigan at Aston Villa. Among the results, Sunderland won, Fulham won, Stoke won. And it's fair to say that whether we're here in the studio or at Goodison Park today, watching the action live on ESPN, that it's great to be here. Head-to-head in league games between the clubs of Goodison and Everton have won 38, drawn 24 and lost 26. That's down the years. As far as the Premier League era is concerned, Arsenal have won 7 of the 17 played at Goodison, but only 2 of the last 7. David Moyes is the 3rd longest-serving manager in the Premier League, behind Arsene Wenger and Sir Alex Ferguson. He's starting his 8th full season in charge. And the Everton boss is with Rebecca.
He is indeed. And David, my first question has got to be, you've included Julian Lescott in the starting lineup. How easy a decision was that for you?
Yeah, he's part of the squad here. We need him. We've got no other central defenders today, so he plays.
OK. Let's talk about last season. It was a cracking one for you to finish 5th and get to the FA Cup final. Despite the loss at Wembley, though, do you feel the momentum's come through the summer with you?
I think so. I think that it's not that long since the final. It's basically the same players who are playing. So we finished, more importantly, the Premier League season in great style last year. You know, we ended up pipping Aston Villa to 5th. So with a real positive finish. So I'm hoping that we can start that way.
It's not the easiest start in the world against Arsenal, but possibly a decent time to play them before maybe they start spending the money they've got from Manchester City.
I don't know. I think Arsene's keeps his money tight and uses it wisely. But they've got a big game on Tuesday night against Celtic in the Champions League, so it may well be the best time. But I think we played them in the first opening game maybe 4 years ago, and we lost 4-1. Which was disappointing, but the end of the season we went on to qualify for the Champions League. So if that was the case and the same again, I'd settle for that.
In terms of improving this season, do you think it's going to be harder, David, because so many other teams seem to have improved and strengthened so far?
Of course, it's going to be much more difficult with the spending what's taking place with other clubs. But this has been the same every season. We say the same about Everton every year. You know, it's going to be harder, David, how are you going to do it? But somehow the players we've got do a great job. They really do. Whatever's asked of them through injuries or whatever, they've played very well and got results. So we'll be hoping for more of the same.
And this is the beginning of your 8th full season. Do you still have that fresh excitement at the beginning of a season like you did before?
Well, I consider myself a young manager and really fortunate to be in the position I'm in. So it's new to me all the time, and hopefully we can go on to have another positive season here.
OK, David, we wish you luck for the game this afternoon. Thank you very much indeed. So, the manager of the season from last year is, of course, hoping to gate-crash that top 4 again, just like he did with Everton 4 years ago. And what better way than to do it with a result against the team that did finish 4th last season in Arsenal.
4 times in the top 6 in the last few seasons for Everton Football Club, performed incredibly well. Listening to David Moyes there, echoing what you said, Julian Lescott has to be a professional and get out there and do the job.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, let's not forget Yakubu's out, Jagielka, Arteta and Achibi, 4 really influential players aren't playing there. But he just gets on with it, Dave. I mean, and he's been fantastic for Everton. Lescott just get out on the pitch, do his job, do what he's paid for.
Absolutely.
If we look at the money the clubs have been spending over the close season period, it gets shorter and shorter. Well, there's Manchester City at the top, spend £96.5 million, £84 million down net. That's something of a shock, perhaps. Manchester United, £67 million up. Didn't see Everton or Arsenal in that, because there's Everton second from bottom. They won't mind being second from bottom in that table. Haven't spent anything at all. And Arsenal, Ian, well, they're £31 million up, and Arsenal fans always say, Arsene,
are they going to spend
get some more stars in?
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem. Everyone at Arsenal wants to know what's happening. Has he got any money to spend? Can he spend this money, what he's got from the two boys? Can he spend it on the squad? No one knows what's going on. At the moment, he says he's quite happy with the squad he's got. He's very happy with the squad he's got. So what can you do? If he doesn't want to spend it, he's not going to spend it. He never does what he doesn't want to do, Wenger.
Seen the lineups? Forecast for the result?
I'm going to go with Arsenal. I think away game. I've got to go with Arsenal. Away game. I think if they get amongst it, get the ball playing. I fancy him strongly.
Everton. What about?
I fancy Everton. Funny enough, I think Fellaini will give Arsenal problems. Gallas and Vermaelen. I think he'll be a handful.
Time to join ESPN's commentary team. Former Everton manager Joe Royle and John Champion.
Thank you, Ray. Good afternoon, everybody, wherever you may be watching this broadcast. Always one of the most attractive games of any Premier League season. Everton versus Arsenal, and 40,000 shoehorned into historic Goodison Park, eagerly awaiting the curtain going up on a brand new Premier League season in these parts. The answer to the question on the minds of most Evertonians then is yes, Joleon Lescott plays. So does Joe, referred to Louis Saha, having started another loan spell here. Tim Cahill remains as likely as anyone to score. Lescott included, despite apparently telling the manager yesterday that he wasn't sure he was in the right frame of mind. But it's a sign of how Everton have struggled to shop over the summer, that apart from Saha, this is the team that started the FA Cup final.
Yes, and you've got to say on the day they didn't quite do as well as they could. The one or two throws on the day. One who didn't was Pienaar, who was their man of the season for me. Got better and better as the season went on, and he's got to get back into his best form straight away for Everton to win today. He can be a big player again this season.
Strangely, for the first day of the season, the only debutant on either side is Arsenal's Belgian defender Thomas Vermaelen. Robin van Persie is now very much the top dog up front, now that Adebayor is gone. And Andre Arshavin will be important as a creative figure, largely because Arsenal start this season without Theo Walcott, Samir Nasri and Thomas Rosicky. The Gunners in pre-season have tweaked their shape, with Nicholas Bentner asked to play a wide role in what Joe Royle is going to be a 4-2-3-1 formation.
And looking at it, a very offensive formation. Vermaelen certainly will have plenty to do. Looking at the midfield forward, only Song has any real defensive attitude. Danielson wants to get on the ball, Bentner's a forward, Arshavin gets forward with the ball, and Fabregas, the little magician, is the one who makes them play. So really, Arsenal have got to dominate possession. If they do that today, Everton have got problems.
So the scene nicely set. We're almost there at the outset of the season, and Rebecca Lowe is down there in the tunnel. Rebecca.
I am indeed, John. I've managed to sneak in front of the players. It's quite quiet in here, obviously concentration levels very high indeed. This is it, day one of the Barclays Premier League season. Messrs Fabregas and Neville are good to go, and so are we.
Let's go.
They will be applauded by one coach and hated by the other. Nothing wrong with that from Danielson. Plenty wrong with the defending, as Vermaelen marked his setting up the former captain, William Gallas. Everton, the less said the better. Arsenal, quite admirable. The half-time score, with analysis to come from Ian Wright and Peter Reid with Ray Stubbs. It's Everton 0, Arsenal 3.
Everton fans are shell-shocked. 3-0 down on the opening Saturday of a new football season. David Moyes said the Joleon Lescott transfer saga had unsettled his team, disrupted the club. Well, they're on a hiding after a first half to forget. Everton 0, Arsenal 3 at Goodison Park in the studio. Peter Reid and Ian Wright watched the action. Painful for Peter as the Everton fan.
Just like them Evertonians there, the shot shows us. Everton not good enough in terms of passing the ball, went too long, but all credit to Arsenal, being magnificent. Absolutely best team in front.
Yeah.
And you'd have a big smile on your face. First time in 5 years that Everton have been 3-0 in half-time. Arsenal well worth their win. But for the first goal, you picked out Nicholas Bentner as playing a very constructive part.
Well, to be honest, he seems to like he's been put on Baines. Obviously, the height. Past
Great strike,
box.
innit? Great finish by Danielson.
Great stuff there.
Tremendous.
Great stuff there. Set pieces as well.
We've got a machine called ESPN Axis, which is going to look at the action from a different angle. And I think it means you can highlight a few sections of the goal.
Absolutely.
Just, I mean, not taking anything away from Bentner, who does great. Fellaini there lets Fabregas run off him. Now, if you're in the middle of the park, 5-man midfield, you've got to go with him. Now, look at this. The three Everton midfield players, Phil Neville, Tim Cahill and Fellaini, get drawn to the ball. Deniso's free.
It's a fantastic finish.
Midfield playing smashes in the net.
It's a fantastic finish.
That's what happens if you don't go with runners. You know, people get drawn in, and you get people free.
Exactly, like I say, Bentner's really he's on his game. He's isolating Baines, and he's got him. And I think for the second goal as well, he's fouled him as well again.
Great goal.
If you're going to do that in the Premier League, you're going to concede goals, and Everton are usually very, very strong in that.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and it's free set pieces. Of course, Arsenal are always going to play good stuff, but to get 3 goals out of 3 set pieces, Arsenal, I tell you, it could be quite embarrassing.
So goals at Goodison for Arsenal, well worth their lead, and Arsene Wenger had a perfect view of all the action.
Tonight at 1 a.m, we've got a crucial match-up in Major League Baseball. The Boston Red Sox against the Texas Rangers. Both are in second place in their respective divisions, and this game could have a major say in the playoff picture and the wild card race. So join us, ESPN, from 1 a.m. Well, welcome back to Goodison Park. It's half-time. It's Everton 0, Arsenal 3. I've been joined by the former Everton captain and reserve team coach, Alan Stubbs. Alan, any way back at all for Everton in the second half?
It's going to be very difficult. I think we've given 3 poor goals away, which is not like us, especially from 2 of them from set pieces, and it's going to be difficult for us now.
What would you do if you were in David Moyes' shoes?
I think it won't be long before, if he's not on already, before Louis Saha comes on, and we need to try and get a goal back as quick as possible.
Can you pinpoint exactly what didn't happen for Everton in the first half?
I think it was just lack of concentration on set pieces. We've gone to sleep. And I think by the nature of the goals, they've been free headers in the box, and that can only mean that people are not, picking up.
In commentary, Joe Royle said that he thought Julian Lescott looked slightly distracted. His body language wasn't quite possibly what it normally is. Did you think that?
No, because I don't think he was at any fault for any of the goals. I think he has been distracted by all the speculation lately, but I don't think Julian's been a fault for any of the goals today. I think, to be fair to him, he's done great to get his mind on the job, really. It's been other players that have lacked the concentration.
As a former player yourself, though, Alan, when this is happening in the dressing room and a player's head has been turned, how does it affect team morale?
Well, this is where the characters come out now. This is where you'll see the characters who'll roll the sleeves up and say, come on, we need to have a go in the second half and try and save a little bit of respect from the result. The last thing we want is to go 4 and 5. It's not the Everton way, and we'll be looking to tighten things up from set pieces. And
Yakubu played in a behind closed doors reserve team friendly last week, so he's on the way back. And Mikel Arteta should be back training by the end of the month. But will Lescott still be an Evertonian at that stage?
They do miss Arteta's guile, particularly today when they have looked a little bit one-dimensional. The only thing I'd say is they got to the final and had some fantastic results without him last year, so they can play without him. It's not as if they're a one-man team by any means, but I always feel that it gives them that extra edge, particularly when he plays in the middle.
He's the player that is compared to the Golden Vision, young by the chairman, Bill Kenwright.
Well, that might be getting carried away slightly. I saw Alex Young here, and it's a shame there's not more footage of the great man.
Danielson. Here's Song. Aaron Ramsey.
A little bit of naivety there from young Aaron Ramsey. He had a chance to slip Eduardo in. He just slid away on his shoulder, was looking to be played in. We don't know how he can finish, but he wanted that goal himself.
Song has gone down clutching his leg, and he's had a very strong game today.
Well, there would be more obvious stars, and we keep mentioning Fabregas and Arshavin and their performances, but I'm sure that Arsene Wenger will tell you that he's been as good as anybody today. His work in midfield has been outstanding.
No sign of the worry lines today on the Arsenal manager's face.
There was a distinct hint of a smile there, by the way.
Arshavin. It's an Arsenal ball. Eduardo. Eduardo.
Great example there, John. 3 Arsenal players hunting impacts to win the ball back with minutes to go. Less than 4 minutes left, and they're still up there pressing and closing.
Song happily recovered. Weighted much too heavily, and Eduardo straying.
Sight there from Sanya. A hoik forward, just a big long ball forward to no one in particular.
Ramsey. Arshavin. Eduardo. Andre Arshavin, whose previous visit here ended in defeat with Zenit St. Petersburg in the UEFA Cup. Emmanuel Eboué. Treated the ball as their friend throughout the game. Still the same.
Finishing exactly how they started, keeping the ball, forward passes, forward movement, in and out and around, supporting play.
Eboué. Eduardo. Arshavin. Oh, off the post, and Eduardo scores on his Premier League return. Six of the best delivered by Arsenal. Everton receiving a first-day caning.
Played several parts in the build-up. Here he's involved. Showed a nutmeg. Arshavin, you watch him, he keeps running, He never gives up on the ball, and while the Everton defenders are stood still, he comes back off the post, and there he is like a true goal poacher. Little toe poker from Arshavin. He's kept moving. He's never thought that the ball was dead. Arrogant little toe poke there from Arshavin. Lovely to see, and there he is. He's going to enjoy that goal for the second time. And watching Everton, I've seen Arsenal score 6 goals here.
But last time, your team scored 1 at least, Joe, but
there's still time.
Not so far today. There's Saha. Peanut. And with the vast majority of the season still to unfold, this will stand out beacon-like as one of the results of the campaign, even in 9-10 months' time. Peanut. Gallas. Lescott. Saha. Baines. Well, the flag beginning to droop now. Prayers will not be enough. Fellaini. Pienaar. There's your meet for Alex Song. And it's another launching pad for the best breakers in the business. And look at Arshavin through the middle. Ramsey is up 2. The bad news for Everton, 3 more minutes to play. Ramsey. Oh, and Phil Neville prevented a 7th, which Arshavin would have poached.
They were flooding forward again, weren't they? That man will be taking it hard, the ultimate professional. The spirit of the Everton dressing room, Phil Neville, that he's in midfield, the full back.
Hardly anyone left in the stands. And Everton barely left standing. Zaha only as far as Danielson. Already history made. The biggest ever away win on the opening day of a Premier League season. And again, boring Arsenal. Today they've been captivating. Gosling. Pienaar. Cahill. Gosling. And Pienaar! And Zaha! It is 6-1, just like in 1958. But there's hardly anyone left wearing blue inside Goodison to applaud it.
Well, that man Pienaar's involved several times here. Great run, he should have scored himself. Louis Zaha following up, tucks it away with his left foot. Almunia a little unfortunate, makes a good save with his feet. Bounces straight into the track, the path of Louis Zaha. How long left?
About 3 hours less than Everton might need, Joe.
I'd love to see Arsene Wenger's face when that moment, and I don't think he'd be happy.
Vermaelen. Where was the defence? There's Eduardo, beaten away. Arshavin miskicked it really in the end. Needed elevation. Well, 3-0 at half-time, 6-1 now. And a game that wasn't a contest for long, ending in exhibition mode. Free kick for Arsenal.
In short, you know, John, Everton haven't done what they're good at, and Arsenal certainly have. Everton are tight. Despite today, they're a team, they're together, and David Moyes can trust them. Not today, but Arsenal have been quite brilliant.
Well, there is the whistle. And one can only really applaud Arsene Wenger and Arsenal, who've laid down a statement of intent in the most engrossing, captivating fashion. Everton never really in it as a contest. Cesc Fabregas, the man who was born on the day that Everton last won the league title, the 4th of May 1987, with 2 goals amongst a quite sublime collection. Danielson, Vermaelen, Gallas and Eduardo with the others. Eduardo's an emotional moment as he returns to a Premier League score sheet for the first time. Congratulations all round. Everton shaken and stirred. May well now need to look to the transfer market and to sort out the Lescott situation once and for all, because it can be nothing other than destabilising. But what about Arsene Wenger? He calls it faith in his young players. Others describe it as folly. On this evidence, he may be spectacularly right, and the vast majority may be very, very wrong. They couldn't have hoped for a better start. As in 1958, they've won at Goodison Park by a huge margin. Everton getting the last goal, but one that was comparatively meaningless. The full-time score in ESPN's first ever Barclays Premier League live UK broadcast is a score that we'll remember for many a long year. Everton 1, Arsenal 6.
A 5-goal margin equals the heaviest ever home defeat on the opening day of a Premier League season. A wonderful win for Arsenal. Lots more action on ESPN tonight. Following us this evening, an exclusive interview with Manchester United manager Sir Alex Ferguson as he aims for a record-breaking 19th league title. At 8:15, there's Bundesliga action featuring Bayern Munich taking on last season's German Cup winners Werder Bremen. Boxing at 9:45 featuring America's former WBA junior welterweight world champion Vivian Vicious Harris, who takes on Mexico's Noy Bolanos in a 10-round junior welterweight bout. That's followed at 11:45 by one of the greatest fights of all time, Ali versus Foreman, 1974 in Zaire. And there's live Major League Baseball action at 1 a.m. Boston Red Sox take on the Texas Rangers. Well, what a match at Goodison Park today. ESPN's first Barclays Premier League game. Everton fans shell-shocked. Everton won Arsenal 6, the final score Goodison. And as far as the Arsenal players and fans are concerned, it's a great win and it's a great trip home. Julian Lescott very depressed. Very excited and an emotional day for Cesc Fabregas as well. One of his close friends died. He's the man of the match, the star of the show at Goodison, in a match that finished Everton 1, Arsenal 6. Everton 1, Arsenal 6, 7 goals at Goodison Park. And Cesc Fabregas is alongside his teammate Thomas Vermaelen with Rebecca.
Cesc, I'll start with you. What a wonderful start to the season. I'm sure you would never have thought 6-1 before the game, would you?
Well, we wanted to win. For us, this is a good start, but come on, let's face it, we are not going to win 6-1 every day. It's just one more game. We don't going to get too carried away by this result, and we know it's not normal. It's just that, you know, we had a good game, and 6 goals is good for the team, but you know, it's just one more game for the title race. It's the first one, and we want to keep going.
2 goals for yourself, especially special because of your friend Daniel Jarque, who lost his life.
Yeah, it's terrible news. I played with him during 2 years in the under-21s, and it was so shocking, you know, in Spain and in world football. So definitely that's for him, and you know, to wish all the best to family.
Thomas, welcome to England and welcome to the Premier League. How much did you enjoy that this afternoon, your debut?
Yeah, I think I enjoyed it. It was a good match for us. It's only the first match, and we have to continue to play like that. And I think we have a good spirit now, and we have to go on.
Were you surprised at your goal, just how much space and time you had, nobody marking you?
No, that's true. And we all, I think the goal from William was the same. There was a lot of space in their back, especially on the second post, and I think that's good for us that we scored there 2 goals.
Cesc, so much talk in the summer about Adebayor and Touré going. You didn't miss them today, did you?
Well, they are great players, but you know, they had problems. They didn't really wanted to continue at Arsenal, so it's the best thing for them to do, and I think for us as well, because we want players who are committed, who want to be together for the season, and you know, we wanna win things together, and I'm sure, you know, we can do it if we keep playing like that.
Thomas, many people have written Arsenal off for the title race, but you came here to win the title, didn't you?
Yeah, I think everybody wants to win the title with Arsenal, and I think it's a long race for us, so we have a lot of matches to play, and it's not going so easy as today, I think, every game. So we have to continue working, and working very hard to win as much as games as we can.
Cesc, just finally, I know you want to keep your feet on the ground. It's just the first game, just one game, but that does send out a huge message, doesn't it? 6-1 against the team that finished 5th, just one below you last season.
No, as I said before, it's just one game, you know. We won 6-1. One day they beat us 3-0. You know, football is like that. and it's just one game, you know. Come on, this is football. We know how that is. One day you are the best, and 2 days later you are the worst team in the world. So let's keep it real, you know. This is football. This is the only game of the Premier League. 37 to go, so we will talk at the end how it went.
Well, Cesc, today you are the best because you've been voted the Barclays Premier League Man of the Match. Thomas, if you could do the honours and pass it over to your teammate.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. Congratulations for your goal on your debut. That's good. That's good. Thank you.
Thank you
very much. Thank you.
Well played, Arsenal. Peter Reid and Ian Wright watched that. Well, what aspect of Arsenal's performance most impressed you?
Well, you know Arsenal are going to play their stuff. You know, I thought that Everton was going to put them under a lot more pressure, but Arsenal, when they scored the first goal, and then that was it. They're always going to be comfortable, and then they're going to get into their game. And I just like the composure. They just kept playing the stuff. They will never change from doing that.
To what extent should we praise Arsenal or criticise Everton?
No, I thought Arsenal were fantastic. The thing that impressed me, the first 20 minutes, Everton put them under a lot of pressure physically. And I said they didn't have, before the game started, wasn't sure they had characters and winners, but they stood up to it. And we all know they can pass it, we all know about the free-flowing football, but I thought the attitude was terrific.
I just want to know if you stand by your decision that David Moyes made the right decision to play Joleon Lescott.
Yes, yeah, I mean, you couldn't really put it down to Lescott's individual display. I thought he did all right. I just think on the day, Arsenal absolutely outstanding. And Everton had a bad day at the office. Yeah. But you're only as good as the team you're playing against let you play. But Arsenal were fantastic.
Maybe the uncertainty of the Lescott situation, maybe that was infectious, maybe that sort of grew to the other Everton players.
Well, leading into the start of the season, ideally you want everybody pulling in the same direction. You've got a player saying that he's not sure if he's in the right frame of mind. That's not going to help at any stage. You know, like Reedy said, I don't think it had anything to do with his performance particularly, but at the end of the day I thought Arsenal was just, like Seth said, they just were brilliant today.
Away wins on the opening day of the season? Well, this equals the heaviest, but there's Arsenal involved. 2009 Everton won Arsenal 6th, they beat Everton 4-1 in 2004, Bolton thumped Leicester 5-0 in 2001, Arsenal 4, Middlesbrough 0 in 2001, and Palace won Liverpool 6. Biggest day, opening away wins, Arsenal involved. Right, let's look at the goals, because they were so entertaining, especially the first goal.
Terrific goal. Bettner does absolutely brilliant, and like I say, Fellaini doesn't track back, but look at Fabregas's feet here, 3 key converging on him. He's got the awareness, look at him, 3 midfield players around him, he's got the awareness to pick out the Nielsen, and the rest is just, this is... Oh.
He's caught that very like that, they're going to get stuff in the box and that, and I think that they're going to cause a lot of problems. I get a lot of stick on Arsenal fans because I keep saying we need a few more to go with that 11, because that 11 could do that for me every week, I think.
Artistic Arsenal at their best. Thomas, for Marlin, you said you hoped he would set
nicking it in front of him, and to be honest, he can't expect to have got so much free time in the English Premiership to score a goal like that on his debut. He must be absolutely loving it.
Well, that's where we need to point at Everton, surely, because the second goal and the third goal.
Second and third goals at this level were very...
No, that will be a threat in the box. So, you know, Fellaini will have been told that he's got to stay with him. He's somebody, I suppose, that Jagielka would have most probably picked up if he was playing, but Fellaini, obviously... He's just lost concentration.
And sometimes when you see a headed goal and a person's being strong, you say fair dues, but like they free headers in the 6-yard box. I mean, Moisey, that won't happen again this season. I'm sure.
It was beautiful.
Behave you.
And time's here from the Arsenal manager, Arsene Wenger. Here he is.
Ray, thank you very much indeed. The man behind me did come in here with a very large grin. Arsene, perfect start.
Yes, we had 3-0 at half-time, and the game confirmed what we have seen in pre-season. And of course, everything went fast today, but still, I believe we were always in charge and dictated the game.
But in the Premier League, scorelines like 6-1 don't come around that often. Are you surprised at that, especially here?
Yes, because I feel as well that the preparation, the international week is disturbing, and for some teams more than for others. And certainly Everton today had not the energy level they have usually here, and because they have been disturbed as well.
By the Joleon Lescott story, you mean?
No, I believe by the fact that there is an international week and everybody has played different times, you have no cohesion in the preparation, and sometimes it has an effect.
There was so much space at the back, especially for Gallas and for Vermaelen's headers, wasn't there?
Well, I believe we had overall a very good game as well. We cannot dismiss that. And the cohesion, the attitude, the team spirit, and the desire to play together, there are many positive ingredients in our game.
Are you especially pleased with your new signing getting on the goal sheet?
Yes, and with his overall performance, he has shown that he has adapted quickly.
And you didn't miss those two names, those ones that have gone to Man City, did you?
Well, you know, we lost two good players and two great players, but you want always, we have our own talents, and it's always sometimes when a great player leaves an opportunity for somebody else to pop up and show that he's good enough.
Cesc Fabregas was saying he's keeping his feet on the ground. We've already spoken to him. Before the game, Fergie said he's not going to write you off, and he's right, isn't he?
Well, I believe what is important is how we behave and not what other people say. From not competitive at all before the game, we do not now suddenly be a super favorite as well. You know, I believe Cesc is right. Let's go from game to game and just focus and try to give our best.
You said in the week you didn't go to Real Madrid because this is your project. You want to see this through, and it started rather well again.
I'm deeply linked with that club and deeply as well linked with the team, and it's 4 years' work behind that, and of course I want to help this team and these players to be successful.
OK, Arsene, congratulations. Thank you very much indeed. Well, Arsenal, of course, go to Celtic on Tuesday, a big game in the Champions League.
Rebecca, thanks. What's Arsene Wenger like in the dressing room after an Arsenal team wins so well? Is he very exuberant? Is he calm and collected?
He'll be exactly like he was there, being in the dressing room, because like you can see it through Cesc Fabregas. No one's getting carried away with it. But Arsene Wenger's got total confidence and in that team. He's constantly saying how confident he is in that team and that squad, and he doesn't get excited about stuff like that.
I know it's only the first game and there's miles and miles to go, but does he show the pleasure that you get from hammering Everton?
No, I think that what he does, he's a very composed man. He knows that there's nothing to get excited about. He's not going to get excited because he would rather that happen at the end of the season. That's just how he is. He's very, very logical like that.
As opposed to you, who would have been jumping around the room.
Absolutely. Well, you saw what I was like in there. Really.
I saw. Don't worry.
I can't understand why really so upset with it.
Fabregas, man of the match, but his performance overall
stuck it to Tim Howard's legs. Look at that. But that's like a 60-70 yard.
He must have seen him coming past. He must have tried to click into the next gear, but he obviously couldn't.
Too much pace.
Just too much pace. They looked a bit leggy after a while because Arsenal were passing it about all over the place.
Half-time, you said play for pride, try and win the second half.
Out to the attack.
That was so stretched there.
I mean, Fabregas picked that ball up in his own half, and he's run with it there, and no one's made a tackle or attempted tackle. So Everton were just shell-shocked.
And the emotions, obviously. Mitigating circumstance for Fellaini. Had a virus during the summer. He's been very ill, lost a lot of weight. He can't have that strength that was needed. But a 6th goal completely wraps it up and makes it, well, not embarrassing, but Everton fans will just hate this.
Well, it's been a bad day at the office, bad day at Goodison, but Eduardo keeps on the move, like Joe Royle said, like a proper striker. I've got one next to me there, on the move, even though it's 5-0, trying to get the 6th goal. That's
really,
what
you don't want to be a fox in a box and Arsenal score 6 goals and you're not on the score sheet. You know,
Maggie, I've got to say, when he come on, you did nominate him.
Pete, don't tell everybody.
Don't
tell people my secrets, man.
Yeah, more reaction from Goodison Park to come, and we'll be reflecting on today's other results in the Barclays Premier League. It's been a nightmare start to the season for Everton. Blues boss David Moyes was angry before the game. He won't enjoy the rest of this weekend.
All of that optimism and enthusiasm we're going to win Everton, you know, but we don't. But we think that, and that's a great dream we all have. Even guys of my age have that sort of a, well, we could do it this year. And I remember an old manager who used to go through the fixture list and he never lost a game. So that's what football does to you.
Much more to come from Sir Alex Ferguson. An exclusive interview with the Manchester United manager is on the way in 10 minutes' time. Back to Goodison Park. Let's hear from the Everton manager David Moyes with ESPN's Rebecca Lowe.
Thanks, Ray. David, after an afternoon like that, what is your overriding emotion?
Well, real disappointment in the opening day of the season, and can't do anything about it. We'll try and correct the faults and look at it tomorrow and get on with it.
What have you said to the players specifically?
Well, I was disappointed. I didn't think we had played that badly in the first half, but we lost 2 diabolical goals from set pieces, which made the scoreline worse than maybe it should have been at half-time. But I felt as if in the second half we didn't perform at all. The next goal in the second half was always going to be crucial. We could have made it 3-1. They scored 2 goals from counter-attacks, and obviously the game was well and truly over.
Louis Saha seemed to have an impact for you when he came on. Would you have looking back, would you may have put him on earlier?
No, I'd only put him on 5 minutes after the second half, I think. So you start with intentions of the players out. You think they're going to do the job, so it happens. That's a manager's job.
Any positives at all, David?
No, none today. Can't pick any positives out of that.
Does today's performance and result show you definitely need more signings?
Well, I think everybody knew we'd like to, but it's not that easy, and everybody knows that we've got restraints. So no, that's fine. We had a team out which finished 5th in the Premier League last year. Just about the team out was in the FA Cup final. So you should have seen a performance much greater than the one you saw today from the players who were there.
Appreciate your time. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
And he's got the Joleon Lescott issue to resolve as well, because that isn't going to go away. Listening to David Moyes there, what's your initial reaction?
I think he's brutally honest, to tell you the truth. Great assessment, the 2 diabolical goals, to use his words. And he didn't mention the players out injured, which I thought was, really good. He mentioned that was a team who was in the FA Cup. Brutally honest and spot on.
Let's turn our attention to all today's results in the Barclays Premier League, opening day of the 18th Barclays Premier League campaign. Well, Arsenal's result stands out, but another result that sticks out for you today, Ian Wright?
It's got to be Wigan, isn't it, Pete? Wigan away to Aston Villa is a big one.
7 away wins, 1 home win.
Manchester City got off to a winning start away at Blackburn.
Yeah,
great result for them.
Looking
a lot of money.
looking a bit ominous for the teams that come up
Wigan,
as well.
that is a fantastic result, first game of the season.
Sunderland winning away at Bolton. Chelsea 2-1 victory at home to Hull City. Fulham win, Stoke win, and West Ham United win at Wolves.
Stoke won as well.
What an opening day of the season in those results, but also at Goodison Park. Arsenal were just terrific.
Awesome. That's all I have to say.
Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Top draw. Stood up to the fight. Everton tried to out-physical them, matched them, and then played the football. Absolutely. Great to watch.
Well, I think Everton's performance, they'll be shell-shocked at this, but artistic Arsenal, well played. They're fantastic, right?
They were very good, and you know what they're capable of, and if they give them that kind of time, and they're going to cause that kind of problems.
Thanks to Peter, thanks to Ian. He's the one with the smile. Arsenal ran riot at Goodison. It wasn't a 5-star performance, it was a 6-star performance. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
It's that time of the year again. The lust for success. The fear of failure. Those racing hearts that seethe with passion. It kicks you right in the center of your gut. For this is who we are. This is what we are. Wrapped in your colors, eyes glistening, pulse throbbing, all raising their voices as one. Prepare to be amazed.